Okay, it's time for our next 300 Blackout video, and we are going to start testing with the Barnes TAC-TX bullets. You may be saying to yourself, dude, last video you said we were going to do velocity testing with accurate 1680. Well, about that. I've been looking around. There's no data for 1680 with 110 grain bullets, and kind of extrapolating. Well, Hornady has data for their 125s. I checked to see how much of this powder fits in a case, and it's like 22.5-ish, something like that. Well, the load data for the 125 grain bullets is almost all the way up there. So even if we did want to try it for 110s, there's not going to be enough case capacity to get the sort of velocities we're looking for in this situation where we're really looking for max velocity. So I'm not saying it won't work for 110s, but it's not going to work for our purposes here. Maybe in the future we'll do some playing around, but yeah, that'll be down the road. Whenever we pull up the 125 grains, what do I got? I got some 125 grain SSTs. Whenever we pull these out, maybe I'll give 1680 a go then. But I guess it's really meant for heavier bullets, and especially subsonics. This is definitely the most popular subsonic powder. So yeah, off the table for the time being. So unless it shoots particularly awful accuracy wise, Winchester 296 is going to be our bullet for these 110 grain hunting loads. If you remember, Winchester 296, same stuff as H110. So whichever one you can get a hold of, they're basically the same. So let's see. Yeah, so from the previous testing we were doing, we've still got 30 pieces of brass that are fully prepped, primed, ready for powder and bullet. So what I'm going to do is load up 15 more of the VMAXs and 15 more, and 15 of the Barnes with the same load, and we're going to kind of see accuracy-wise how they compare to one another. This is definitely going to be the bullet we use, but I'm just kind of curious, as far as accuracy goes, whether they're close or whether the Barnes are going to be a whole lot better. I think I already kind of discussed a little bit. This is a very long bullet when compared with the little VMAX. This guy's big and long and all that sort of stuff. Well, for this guy, for the Hornady, we went by Hornady's recommended overall length. For this guy, we're going to go by Barnes's recommended overall length. So we're not getting cute with overall length. If they shoot particularly awful, maybe we'll play around with overall length, see if we can tune that in a little bit. But for the time being, initial testing, we're just going to use the Barnes data. It is 0.2 of an inch longer, their recommended overall length. So that accounts for a lot of this bullet length, right? What I did, I was going to make a video, kind of get it on video, but it wasn't really very interesting. I just I grabbed a couple cases and I made a mark where the base of the bullet would be with the two different powders. Hornady on the left there, Barnes on the right. And it's pretty close. The Barnes is a little bit deeper. It's almost right at the shoulder. This guy's going to go down in here like this. And it's got this little crimping groove, cantilever sort of looking. Let's see if we can get it. You guys want a close up? You want to see this guy? It's pretty sexy, right? Got that black tip looking all angry and mean. So I'm not planning to like crimp the snot out of these down into this cantilever, but yeah, that's about where it's going to go. Is right at the top of the crimping groove is about where our seating depth is going to be. So I would guess that probably represents maybe a 3/4 case capacity difference between the two. Maybe a touch more. I don't know. So there, at least it's not wildly different. It's not crazy different. I was afraid these Barnes were going to be way the hell down in there and reduce our case capacity a ton. That's definitely not the case. Which, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to back down too far. Right? These guys are like 60 cents a piece. I don't want to waste them shooting a bunch of super duper low loads whenever. Yeah, check me out. Okay, I'm not going to waste a bunch of these shooting really weak loads just to say I shot them. We've taken these VMAXs all the way up to basically as much powder as we could cram into this guy, and I didn't blow my face off. So it may not be the safest thing. We're kind of going to do. That's just a very stiff box. Like I grabbed it to close it, and the whole freaking thing just decided to flop over on me. Okay, where are we at? Is that all of them? Yeah. Okay, I think I got them all. Where was I? Yeah. Alright, I remember where I was. So our max, the max powder we went to, the max charge we went to last time was 22 grains with the VMAXs. That was a very full case. And I think I showed you the bullet seating die, you know, was marking the bullets, like there was a ring around the bullets. It was pressing so hard on the bullets. So I'm going to back off of that. We're going to go back to 21.5 grains, which got us 2270 feet per second last time. Pretty nice and hot. So that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be our max charge that we're going to test with here first. Is 21.5, and I'm going to drop it down 3/10. So I'm going to do 21.5, 21.2, and 20.9, and we'll see what sort of accuracy and velocity we get with these. What I'm hoping is, so that little bit less case capacity with the Barnes, you know, should make this a little bit higher pressure, right? Less case capacity should be more pressure. So that's what I'm hoping is maybe with this, with the bullet seat a little bit deeper, we pick up just a touch of velocity over the VMAXs, and we're still in that 2,300 feet per second sort of area. So that is that. Yeah, that's really it. So I'm going to get set up and start dumping 21.5 grains. Okay, so I've tried to spare you some of the redundant stuff. You know, you've already seen me load enough of these AMAXs, right? These are the 15 I discussed before, you know, or 20.5, what was it? Yeah, 21.5, 21.2, and 20.9. So these guys are ready to go. You may have remembered last video I didn't have any sights on the gun. I need to put the scope back on there, and I need to get somewhere close to 0, you know, make sure I'm on paper and all that sort of crap. So I loaded up 10 more of the 20.9 load just as sighters, you know, to get the gun warmed up, zeroed up, and ready for accuracy testing with these 15, and then the Barnes we're about to load. So I've got powder in here. And actually, this may be okay. If you remember, here's that case that I kind of wrote how far the Barnes, that's where the base of the Barnes bullet's going to be. This is our heaviest charge. This is 21.5. And that powder is nicely up into the neck. So we're talking about quite a bit of compression going on here. And actually, whenever I was loading the VMAXs, these did get a nice little ring around them. It's not awful, but it's there, you know, and it makes me wonder what I'm doing to the bullet there, you know, or yeah, hopefully not screwing it up. Yeah, so let's see, I have no idea where where we're going to be at with this. I'm going to back this out a lot. So if you remember, our overall length is like 200 thousandths longer, but you know, most of that's nice skinny little tip and all that crap. So I'm going to back this out a lot. That's probably like 150 thousandths ish. I don't know. I just backed it out a lot. So let's go ahead and start this first one. Yeah, everything seems to be okay. What I should have done, I kind of didn't really think about it. A lot of times starting with a new bullet, I like to get take the seating stem out of there and kind of see just how it's going to contact the bullet and make sure it's not wonky, or you know, like maybe the seating stem is too shallow and the tip is actually going to hit the top instead of you know, instead of the bottom of it touching the ogive of the bullet, stuff like that. But I'm not too freaked out about this because a lot of people shoot these bullets and a lot of people use this die, so it seems like the sort of thing I would have run across in my studies. So we're quite long, right? You see our cantilever there, still way up there. So I'll tell you what, let me make sure. Yep, that's in there. So I'm just going to crank this guy down a bit. Yep, still long. Yep, still long. There we go. We're going to take a measurement here. Our goal is 2.250. Yeah, that guy's good. .270. Yep, so 20 thousandths long. I tell you what, let's go let's go 15. We're going to get down to where now it's going to start compressing, I would imagine. .225.6. Okay, let's go down another 5. All right, so that pretty much puts us just a thousandths long. So let's load up a second, see if the numbers agree. I kind of felt a little funky. Make sure. Yep, I'm not like shaving copper or anything. That guy shows 3 thousandths long. One more just for the hell of it. .249, 2.250, 2.253, 2.250, 25, yeah. Now, what's that mean on our comparator? It's like 2.526. Come on. Is that primer? I think that the brass problems I'm going to end up having is these are just getting so banged up. I think some of them are giving wonky readings just from all the beating this brass is taking. Yeah, 2.526. And I think what I'll do, I'll probably go down another thousandth. I think I'm just reading wrong. You run it back through one more time. I'll tell you what I want to do though. Those two read exactly 2.526. Just to make it easier to remember, I'm going to go to 5.250 or 2.525. It's been a long week. Okay, give me a break. 2.526 is what I've been reading. Here, I'll show you just so you can make sure. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, well, I'm an idiot, but I think I've straightened myself out here. 2.526. So I want to go one more thousandth, just so that it's an easy to remember number that's. Okay, let's see if that got him there. And that was 2.524. Guess it went a little farther than I wanted. 2.524. And this one's still reading long. And yeah, it's the freaking brass. And that, I don't know if that primer's bulging just a touch. I might hit that guy. Just make sure that primer. Yeah, this is not very smart. Yeah, take a live round and smash the primer. That's awesome. 0.527. So that guy's just reading weird. I don't know. Alright, let's move on to the crimp. I've got this set for a pretty light crimp. But actually, I guess, you know, the fact that there's nothing underneath, that might be enough to where we could actually visually see it. So the left has been crimped, the right has not. It's kind of tucked into that cantilever a little bit, isn't it? And we should be able to measure that. One that hasn't been crimped, right at the case mouth. About 328. See what this other guy says. 328. Yeah, this might be more crimped than I wanted. 327. So like, yeah, it's only in 1,000. Optical illusion, I guess, maybe. 327. Yeah, so it's barely crimped at all. Which is just what I'm wanting. I don't want to over crimp these. That guy. And that guy. So that's pretty much it. I don't see any scarring on the ogive from the seating die. Those just look like good rounds to me. You guys see any? Yeah, I don't see the bullet getting jacked up. So I think we'll call that good. Those are our settings. And now it's just a matter of running through them. Yeah, see how much longer those guys look in the box? Yeah, I've never actually. Yeah, fits nice. Pull it up. So okay, yeah. I'm not very focused today. Need to get my crap together here. Okay. Alright, so that's the last one. One thing I did want to check here, remember those first few, I saw quite a bit of variation in overall length. I wanted 2.250, which is perfect. 2.252. 2.252. 2.247. 2.250. So it's not that bad. A couple thousandths. Either way is completely fine. And like I say, some of that may be somewhat junky brass. But alright, so that's it. Looking forward to seeing how these guys shoot. So let's get to the range. Okay, finally. You know, it might be instantaneous for you, but it's been like a week and a half since I loaded this ammo. Been chomping at the bit to get out and give it a try, and here we are. Yeah, just doing some backyard shooting. I've got a target out there at 65-ish yards, and we're going to do some accuracy testing with these rounds. So here's the problem. I can either shoot this gun for velocity or I can shoot it for accuracy, but I can't do it at the same time. Not until I get my SBR paperwork and get a stock on this thing. So no chronograph readings today. We'll see what happens with accuracy and then take chronograph readings as necessary to to fill in the gaps. I'll tell you, the sighting shots that I loaded up were a little bit disappointing with accuracy. They were a little bit all over the place. So I'm preparing myself for some disappointment here. But only one way to find out. Let's get started. We're going to start with the Hornady VMAXs, and the first one will be our highest load, which is 21.5 grains. So let's get set up and see what they do. Okay, 5 shots at the left-hand dot. Well, so far so good. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was happening with the shots I took earlier, but they weren't laying them in there. Alright, let's not get cocky. Keep on going. Yep, I had to open my mouth. Well, that's just not the least bit impressive, is it? Pretty gross. Alright, let's situate things a little bit here and we'll move on to the TAC-TXs. Alright, so I kind of chopped my target a little more than I thought I should. So if this first one doesn't hit the paper, hopefully they don't shoot high. If this first one doesn't hit the paper, we'll step back, regroup. I'll get some more paper there. And then I wanted to check. I wanted to load one, make sure I wasn't. Yeah, it looks like it fed fine. Didn't jack anything up during feeding. Helps to put it all the way in. There we go. Alright, hopefully these guys are going to shoot a bit better. So we will see. Is that it in the orange? Yeah, I think that's it. Let me grab that piece of brass real quick. Yep, I don't see anything weird going on with the brass. Looks like all the others. So let's go ahead and run through them. You know, I didn't really look at it before, but these are absolutely 100% magazine length. Not much extra to go, but at least this little 5 rounds in this little 10 rounder is going good. Probably want to check a bigger batch and a bigger magazine just to make sure everything is okay, but yeah, it looks completely okay. Okay, so I grabbed my rangefinder just to be certain, went out and ranged it. That was 64 yards. We'll call it 65 yards. And by my math, one MOA at 65 yards is about 0.68 inches-ish, something like that. So I measured some groups here. I'm really surprised at how poorly the VMAX is shot. You know, earlier on in our velocity testing, shooting lowered loads, we were getting much better groups. So I'm afraid that, you know, like I was saying with these compressed loads, I felt like maybe I was deforming the jackets. Those varmint bullets, I think they have a pretty thin jacket, kind of designed to frickin' explode basically, and yeah, compressed charges just weren't very accurate with those guys, right? Like right between 2 and actually it was getting better as the charges were going down. So 2 3/4 inches, 3 inches, about 3.5. So about 5 MOA, 4.5, 4.1 MOA. Yeah. So, and honestly, I don't really care because I'll probably never shoot these bullets again. They don't really fit any of my needs. You know, for hunting bullets, I want something that yeah, has a little bit different expansion properties, and for plinking there's cheaper options up in the 150 grain range that'll suit my purposes just fine. So they were good for what I needed them for, which was to investigate 110 grain bullets in the gun and different powders and velocities and things like that. So it was a cheap option to do what I wanted to do, and now I'm pretty much done with them. The 110 grain TAC-TXs were much more satisfying. 1.3 inches, 1.8 inches, and 1.48 inches. 1.9 MOA, 2.6 MOA, 2.2 MOA. So 2 MOA plus or minus. I'm okay with that. I'm not thrilled. I'm not pissed. I'm just kind of, you know, okay. What I want to do, well, I'm honestly not sure what I want to do. I need to think this over a little bit more. This gun is no fun to shoot as a pistol. I mentioned that in every video. I think I'm just going to be done. My SBR paperwork will be here in a couple weeks. So next video, we'll have a stock on the gun. We'll be able to get velocity data at the same time we're getting accuracy data, and we'll be able to narrow this in. But already, heck, I'd load up a bunch of those and hit the woods, no problem, and you know, keep it within 200 yards or so, and call it good enough. Maybe we can do a little bit better. Maybe there's a load in this range that'll tighten things up, give us a, you know, a more consistent sub 2 MOA, I'd be okay with that. Especially if it'll hold 2 MOA out to about 200 yards. You know, if it'll shoot 4-inch groups at 200 yards, I'm done. That's my hunting load. I'll hit the woods and kill all sorts of stuff. But we've got more testing to do, and that'll come later when it's an SBR. And hopefully when I get my suppressor. The suppressor's a couple more months behind the SBR paperwork, most likely, but it is what it is. So I think we'll wrap that up. Very happy. I wish I knew what velocities we saw, but you know, that's how it goes. And I'll see you guys next time.